Hey guys, welcome back! And now we have to talk about the more infamous aspects of this game. Especially one that I teased when we talked about the characters. The escort mission sections. They are so hated that many people have the gall to say that this excellent game is overrated because of them. But in my opinion, I think they work great. Mostly because you have lots of options for Ashley. You can order her to move towards you, or stop in place. You can even make her hide in a dumpster, and she will stay there until you order her to get out. You can even choose to recover her health if she gets hurt over your own. But she has an annoying voice, and she screams a lot. And if an enemy grabs her and brings her to a door, it's an instant game over. Besides, don't you know that escort missions are one of those unforgivable gaming sins? They always suck. So that's a super mega epic fail. Not true. They are just a gaming trope, and how good or bad they are depends on its execution. And I have to say, this is the second best game about a constant escort mission. The first one is Eco, of course. Also, it makes sense that she can't defend herself since she's just a regular girl from a rich family. Besides, the normal difficulty of the game is too easy. Only a few encounters, sub-bosses and bosses can be quite difficult. And the Ashley escort missions are some of those few moments. Basically, what I am saying is, get good, noobs! You only hate them because you suck at them!
Well, I see what you mean.
Besides, I prefer when you actually have to deal with the escort mission itself. There is nothing more immersion breaking than seeing Ellie being ignored by the enemies like she's a ghost. It completely breaks the theme of protecting her that The Last of Us was going for. Or even worse, when Elizabeth constantly helps you and gives you ammo, yet she gets ignored all the time in BioShock Infinite. You know, that game that was heavily praised when it first came out, but now it is considered a terrible game that ruined the BioShock franchise.
Yeah, now that I think about it, that game made no sense at all. Time travel stories can get really stupid at times. You can tell the writers didn't study time travel theories.
Also, Ashley provides one of the best moments in the entire game. Yeah, I am talking about the most iconic room in the castle. The water hall. This room has plenty of cultists going after you and trying to capture Ashley, with plenty of crossbow snipers and enemies with shields. Later you even get to protect her from enemies, while she has to crank 2 levers, while also making sure you don't die either. Many players struggle a lot with this room, and I can see why. It is a very challenging sequence that really tests all of your skills that you have learned as a player up to this point.
Well, she still uses stupid damsel in distress that has to constantly get saved and can do anything on her own.
Not true, because let's not forget about when you take control of her. Until this point, you have felt a great action power fantasy when playing as Leon. But here is one of those few moments where the game remembers its survival horror roots. Also, if you thought she was completely helpless, she can do this.
I guess she's more badass than I thought.
See? Don't judge a book by its cover. Anyways, let's continue with other negatives. Like the QuickTime events. And, as many of you already know, I don't like them in most games.
But look at those button prompts glowing red! Don't they make the action feel more intense? Not really. If anything, they're just annoying in the cutscenes. Just when I find myself enjoying the entertaining characters and silly story, then suddenly BOOM! You are dead because you didn't react in time to a stupid button prompt. I didn't like them in the first Bayonetta, and I don't like them here either. They can sometimes be done well, but this is not one of them. How about in the gameplay? Are they done better there? Yeah, a little. They happen a lot more often in the gameplay than in the cutscenes, so it is a lot easier to memorize which enemies has abilities that can be avoided with quick time events. So you can predict them better, but I still would prefer an actual button dedicated to dodge and roll around instead of pressing two buttons at the same time and doing it automatically. Because when you can actually control yourself and the direction you roll away, it works much better and it gives you far more options to dodge. I see. Well, I am tired of talking about negatives. Let's talk about more good stuff of the game. Yeah, we could talk about the sub-bosses. They are great because they make the enemies encounters a lot more interesting. Let's do a top 3 of the best ones. Number 3, El Gigante. These guys are huge and incredibly strong. They can kill you very fast if you are not careful, because they do a lot of damage. Also, if you think you are safe inside one of those constructions, then you are wrong, because he can destroy them. Also, if that stupid frog was here, he would probably do a Shrek reference as a cringe joke, like, "Get off of my swamp, Leon!" Yeah, this battle is really good, but it deserves a lot of credit just for giving you a payoff for saving the dog.
Hey, it's that dog.
Now this fellow doggo will fight alongside you for the rest of the battle.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
They have a lot of attacks like throwing trees, stomps, and even a shoulder charge attack that can kill you very easily. Lucky for you, if you shoot them enough in the face, their parasite will be exposed, and then you can shoot it for massive damage. Be sure to avoid him falling over once you kill him, since that's an insta-kill. Number 2, Los Garrados. These fuckers can give you very hot-blooded battles, mostly because they are blind, and you have to avoid making too much noise, or they will attack you with their absurdly long Wolverine claws. But once you learn to use this to your advantage, by making sounds like ringing some bells nearby to distract them, they are not that hard to deal with. Make sure to get behind them to shoot the parasite on their back, which is their biggest weak point. Even though they can get easier to deal with once you learn to fight them, they can still be really challenging when they are alongside other enemies. The encounter with two Garrados and other Ganados at the same time, it is especially quite difficult. Number 1, the Regenerators. Oh no, not these monsters. I don't think I can handle them. My asthma is coming. Well, remember that I said before that there was a few genuinely scary moments in this game? This is one of them. It even has a horror-styled build-up. You are searching for a card key to free Ashley, so you enter a lab searching for it. These are always unnerving because before you have seen plenty of creepy experiments in them. But this one doesn't seem too bad, until you see a weird dark creature behind a lab glass lying on a bed. And it seems to be dead. After you do a very simple puzzle, a door will open. There you can see an incredibly disturbing experiment being displayed. It doesn't help that nearby there's an author of Louis' memos describing a very powerful and horrifying creature.
Then you get excited because you finally found the car key you were looking for. But then you hear a bang at the door, and then this noise.
Yeah, as you can see, they're not called regenerators for nothing. Any limb of body part that you manage to destroy, they will grow it back after a few seconds. It is an incredibly fast healing factor. I would love to get a sample and analyze it. If I weren't so scared.
Well, if it is too much for you to handle, maybe you can try to run away. Though that might not always be an option. Besides, you probably don't want to miss the big gold reward after killing them. So, there's two ways to kill them. First, just go guns blazing. They can't regenerate forever, so just keep shooting them until they die. But if you don't want to waste all your ammo, you can always get the infrared scope for the rifle and shoot the invisible parasites that are the only weak points. Lucky for you, they walk very slowly, so just make sure to stay away from them.
There is also the Iron Maiden! A somehow even more scary version of the regenerators. Though aside from having more health and a few spikes-based attacks, it is not that different. So the same strategies still apply.
Well, since we made a top 3 best sub-bosses, let's make a top 3 best bosses. Let's start with the honorable mentions. The first one will be the Lago. This is the gimmicky minigame boss fight.
This type of boss battles used to be far more common in older games to give the gameplay more variety. But in modern games they become far more infamous for being poorly done.
But that was not the case with the Lago. This giant carnivore whale creature boss might not be the best from this game, but it deserves some respect for using a completely unique way of killing it. Instead of using your guns, here you have to go full Captain Ahab and throw harpoons at it. And don't worry for getting out of ammo, since here you have an infinite reserve of those in this tiny boat.
The battle is very simple. Just keep throwing harpoons at it. Preferably at its mouth when you can. Just make sure to not fall off the boat, or else prepare to do some quick time events to go back to the boat before the Lago eats you whole!
Hey, did you know that you can catch some fish near the river of the Lago before you fight him?
Oh really? Let me try it out. Come on, let me shoot you, you damn fish. You can't get away from me. Come back here. You can't escape. And...
That was hilarious.
That was not funny! You almost gave me a heart attack!
Hey, sorry, but I had to do it. Anyways, the other honorable mention goes to El Verdugo. This one deserves it, purely for being an author of the few genuinely scary horror game moments. The presentation is great.
At the beginning, you don't even see the creature until you get trapped into a closet room with the damn thing. You have no option but to fight it directly.
This monster can tank most of your weapons and is somehow fast enough to avoid bullets, so it seems there's no way to beat it. But you got incredibly lucky again, since there's some conveniently placed liquid nitrogen tanks all over this area. Knock them down when he's near you, and it will freeze in place. Take the great power of science to the face! Now is your opportunity to shoot all your weapons into it. Other than that, there's not much else to say about this battle, but it is also worth mentioning that this battle uses too many annoying quick-time events, and in the closet room the spaces are too tight. So even if you manage to do them right, its tail thrust attacks will still hit you because the automatic roll around will not get you out of the way, because you will hit a wall. This is why I said it will be better to have a roll around button where you can actually control the direction of it yourself. By the end of this battle I was so frustrated that I shoot a rocket launcher to his face. Anyways, let's start the top 3 with... Number 3, the U3. This boss has no real introduction in the story, unlike the others, which in a way makes it another of the few scary moments in the game. Mostly because you get to fully immerse yourself in the scary presentation.
Oh no! Not another scary monster!
This creature starts attacking you by breaking a stone wall, forcing you to enter a hanging room filled with metal containers. So you have to survive this hideous monster attacking you while you're trying to figure out how this maze works. What you have to do is to find a switch that will open the main door, but this will also activate a countdown where a part of the hanging room will fall off, so you better hurry up.
Oh golly, I can handle this! But I guess the trick to beat it is not to waste too much ammo in this phase. Just enough to get it out of your way. And then just run away!
Exactly. But just when you think you have everything under control, this happens!
Oh gosh, no more crazy mutations!
Luckily, after doing this a few more times, you will jump into a hook and the U3 will fall into the abyss. Unless...
Oh no! The bastard is still alive!
Now the second phase starts. But that means that it is time to shoot all your arsenal into it. Have no mercy, and make sure to use wisely the explosive red barrels for massive damage.
You can also trap it for a while using the gate switches.
Yeah, but this asshole can dig underground to escape and also attack you from below. So make sure to pay attention to those quick time events. With all of this in mind, you shouldn't have too much trouble beating this monster.
Because this boss doesn't have a proper introduction in the story, and you don't know anything about it, the fandom has been inspired to make plenty of theories. Some people say it is the reanimated corpse of El Alcalde Mendez.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Number 2, Ramon Salazar. This mutated form is so absurd that it's hard to take it seriously, but it fits with his ridiculous over-the-top personality.
Yeah, this final form is quite impressive for a Resident Evil game, and he can be quite difficult if you are not careful. In this fight there are 2 floors. In the second floor, when you start, is where he will attack you the most. But it is also the best point to shoot its eye, which is its main weak point. However, by shooting its eye, you are not really damaging him. All this does is stagger him for a while and leaving what's left of his human body exposed for a few seconds. This is your chance to actually do some damage, so make sure to use all your best weapons.
If you go to the left or to the right, he will attack you with his tentacles, which you can avoid with quick time events, which can be a little annoying, but luckily you can shoot the tentacles and get rid of them for a while. But whatever you do, Don't stay in the center, because then he will open its huge mouth and swallow you whole!
If you're low on ammo and items, you can go to the first floor and recover some of them. But be careful because down there's a bunch of those facehugger parasites. And they never stop coming, so you can't stay there for too long. Get all the supplies you need and then get out.
This might not be one of the hardest bosses in the game, but it's certainly one of the most fun. And it feels good to take down this little prick after many hours of him taunting you with codec calls, like in Metal Gear Solid.
Number 1, Krauser. This guy is a very strong opponent for Leon. He has been built up since the castle level, and you knew eventually you will have to fight him. And it doesn't help that you finally have to do it right after the intense battle with the U3.
And he's got an entire set piece prepared just for you. So to continue on your way to save Ashley, you have to get 3 insignias. There is one north, another east, and he has the last one. So you will have to kill him to get it.
Sounds like you thought this one out pretty well.
At first, he will shoot you with his machine gun and explosive arrows, so make sure to get to cover. Don't be careful because eventually they will break. Later he will chase after you, and if you try to just run away, he will get to you since he's way faster than Leon. You will have to confront him eventually. Just make sure to not waste all your ammo yet, since this is barely the first phase.
He's weak to knife attacks. Make sure to aim for his face and legs, since that staggers him. But never turn your back on him, because he might grab you from behind and cut your neck, which obviously does way too much damage.
He also likes to use drones against you, the ones who float and shoot from far away, and the spider-like ones that charge you and explode. Make sure to destroy them as soon as you see them.
After you get the first 2 insignias, the final phase will start. And this jerk also gets a goddamn mutation too. Not only that, but he sets up a time bomb.
Witness the power!
You've lost it completely, Krauser.
Prepare for your death, Leon.
This time he will no longer use his weapons and exclusively attack you with his mutated arms and kicks. He will also use his arm as a shield, so make sure to shoot his legs to stagger him. Then shoot all your weapons into him. This battle also uses a lot of quick time events, but at least here you got plenty of space to avoid them. But hurry up, because if you don't kill him in time, the bomb will explode and you will die! Yeah, there is nothing more frustrating than managing to beat Krauser and dying because you got out of time. Well, I think that's all you need to know about that boss fight. You probably have noticed that we didn't mention Lord Sadler, but that's because I don't think it is that good of a fight. It is pretty easy for a final boss, and mostly focuses on being cinematic. To beat him, just stay away and you can easily stagger him by shooting its very obvious weak points just once, which are the eyes in his spider legs. Then you can do a very silly God of War finisher. At least you can use the construction steel beams to knock him down. Okay, since we already talked enough about everything in the game, let's start finishing this off. Let's talk about the extras. The most notorious will be alternative story mode separate ways with Ada. It's almost like a DLC, but it is honestly not that engaging. You get to see lots of events from the point of view of Ada, which is a little interesting to say the least.
Yeah, but the cutscenes are horribly compressed. Just look at this crap.
We have an irregularity. The researcher we planted has been discovered by the Illuminados.
You must be talking about that vagrant Spaniard. So where is he now?
He's held captive in an abandoned house located northeast of the village. Until he recovers the sample, we can't let him die.
You don't need to remind me. Luis Serra. And I thought I was high maintenance.
And gameplay wise, you go to the same places that Leon went, but even less open, and you don't even get to see any new enemies.
Well, at least you get a new weapon to buy from the merchant.
Yeah, but you can't even upgrade them for some reason. But at least that makes the game a bit more challenging. Also, yeah, there's not much new stuff here. Well, except for this crazy warship section that appears out of nowhere.
You also get to fight Krause again. Apparently he somehow survived and escaped the explosion. This is an even harder version of his last phase.
And we can't forget about the extra boss battle with Sadler. It's so good that we would have put it in the top 3 best bosses if it was in the main story mode. This one is incredibly challenging. He attacks you with his tentacles that you can avoid with quick time events or getting out of the way. But be careful when you send the TMP against him, because he can absorb its bullets and shoot them back at you.
Yeah, I assume like his final form, he's very fast. You start to wonder why he even bothered transforming if his human form seems to be far more practical and just as powerful.
For intimidation factor? Well, anyways, make sure to save your ammo for this battle, since he has a lot of health. And also avoid his dash attack that deals a lot of damage.
What else is there to talk about? Oh yeah, the Mercenaries mode.
This mode is very fun because you get to fight an endless horde of enemies. Each enemy you kill will grant you points, and you will get even more if you do it in a row, with a very short time limit. But don't worry, you can easily extend it by collecting some hourglass that are around the stage.
There are 4 stages in total, and each one of them have very different level design and enemy types from different sections of the main story mode. The most difficult maps will really put your skill to the test.
But the most interesting aspect of this mode by far is the option to play as other characters besides Leon. Each one of them has their pros and cons, like health amount, different abilities and weapons. My favorite characters to use will be Krauser because of his mutated arm that's incredibly OP, and Wesker because of his really cool melee attacks. If I had to choose my least favorite character, I think it will be Honk, since he only has one weapon, so he has the least variety in gameplay, which makes him the most boring to use. Though I wish I could somehow use these characters in the main game too. Maybe in an arcade mode, where you could play different sections of the game without cutscenes, and with the option to choose any character you want. Well, enough about the extras. Let's do the conclusion. In conclusion, this game is incredibly good, and it is amazing how well it has aged despite how old it is. Though it still has a few flaws like the outdated quick-time events, and as much as the tank controls work very well, I would still like to have far more free mobility like in an Uncharted game. But that's just my preference. The story is really stupid, and a lot of times it doesn't make any sense. The game only has 3 difficulty levels, which are easy, normal and professional. The normal mode it is not too challenging, so it feels fitting for that, but professional mode is a huge leap in difficulty. Feels like there should have been another mode in between those. But again, that's just a preference. Some of the insta-kills can be quite cheap, since they might come from an angle that you can't see them or avoid them. Not to mention, sometimes the enemies can do cheap combos with the attacks without letting you do anything to avoid them. But other than that, there's nothing else I can think of that could be a negative. It is an absolutely incredible game. I give this game a 10 out of 10, which means it is a legendary game that's influential and stands the test of time. And it is the highest rating that I have given to a game so far. And yeah, I am one of those weirdos who uses the maximum rating to represent an incredible game but not flawless. This game might not be my top 20 favorite games of all time, but I simply can't deny how good it is. And to finish this, I would like to mention the ending of the game. The final boss might have been a bit disappointing, but the rest is great. But it is so stupid! Even Lord Sadler says so!
What's so funny?
Oh, I think you know. The American prevailing is a cliché that only happens in your Hollywood movies. Oh, Mr. Kennedy, you entertain me. To show my appreciation, I will help you awaken from your world of clichés.
Exactly, which means it's the perfect way to cap off the game. After you beat Sadler with a rocket launcher, Ada steals the vial with Las Plagas from Leon. Then she escapes with a helicopter, but not before activating a countdown that will destroy the whole place. I guess it wouldn't be a classic Resident Evil game without rocket launchers and countdown explosions that blow up everything. Then Ashley and Leon escape using a jet ski while the entire place is blowing up and barely manage to escape at the last second. I guess Sadler was right about the movie clichés.
Ashley! Ashley! Where are ya?
Leon!
Come on. Let's go home.
Sounds like a great idea. Mission accomplished. Right, Leon?
Not quite. I still have to get you home safe.
So, after you take me back to my place, how about we do some, overtime?
Sorry.
Somehow I knew you'd say that, but it doesn't hurt to ask, you know? So, who was that woman anyway?
Why do you ask?
Come on, tell me.
She's like a part of me I can't let go.
Let's leave it at that.
Then the credits show some very creepy art of how the whole thing started with Las Plagas. It gives me the creeps.
And that's it. The game is finished, the review's over, and we can go home now.
Well, as much as it pains me to admit that this was fun to do, despite the fact that I had to interact with a low intellect life form like you, so I will gladly do more reviews like this in the future. Just no frogs involved, period! So I just wish next time it is a less terrifying game. Goodbye, loser!
Okay, until next time I guess. Well, that was quite an interesting experience to say the least. Wish he was less antagonistic towards me, but what can you do? Anyways, that's the end of the video. See you later, guys!